Now, the 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Brought to you by TireOutlet.com. Wholesale prices, premium service.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about the intro music to the 10-minute drill as being the real star of the
It's
show.
the hook, if you will.
It's what the hook's in. That's correct.
Yeah.
I know this. I guarantee you there's at least one Guggen right now just doing a little head bob.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Because he's driving, right? Look, Brooksy's got one going. All I had to do was suggest it. Now that I've suggested it, there's hundreds of Guggens that's bobbing their head a little bit.
Yeah. It's kind of what happens Friday at 9 o'clock, despite your insistence on...
It takes two to make a thing go right.
Jeff hates it so much he took
Walking
last
out.
Friday off, and he's taking tomorrow.
I don't like the Friday. That Leo Sayer can go right to hockey sticks.
Yeah. Well, let's exchange some concepts and rationalizations. At the end of this, we'll hand out a nice prize pack for you.
You're darn right we will.
Okay.
Let's start with this. So let's go right to this. Jags and Texans coming up on Sunday. Forget the must-win stuff. Some people say yes, some people say no, regardless. But to win the game, let me ask you this. How many sacks do the Jaguars need to get of Deshaun Watson to make you feel good, to make you feel better, to make you say, okay, that's what we're supposed to be doing?
Wow, you know what? The sack number, I don't know if it's as important as constant pressure. So 5 would make me feel just grand.
5 would make you feel good.
5 would be perfect.
5 would be nice.
I'm also assuming with that 5 that I'm getting, pressure on a majority of the other plays and just getting, Deshaun Watson out of his comfort zone. Apparently the guy right now is put together with, Elmer's glue and Scotch tape. I mean, bruised ribs, punctured lungs. I mean, it's been a disaster back there for him, but I think the Texans defense is going to create equal problems for the Jaguars offense. So, yeah, that defense better play good. They better, they better bring it when it comes to pressure on Deshaun Watson. So, and at the same time, I don't want to break to everyone, but the Jags have struggled miserably containing Mahomes and Prescott the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, Deshaun Watson's a better runner than both of them.
Well, just
so
so you
better do
understand,
that also.
The Texans have allowed a sack 11.49% passing per attempt and are on pace to surrender 68 sacks this season. They allowed 54 last year, so only the Bills have allowed more than the Texans.
Dan, there was another Jaguars storyline that developed yesterday, and I would like to. Here's what I want to.
Science.
Here's what I want to ask the audience to do: to ignore these long-term forecasts that are just idiotically proposed right now. What Shad Khan did yesterday in pulling back his bid for Wembley Stadium should not be judged as good or bad for the Jags long-term. That is a ridiculous story. You know what's good or bad for the Jags?
What?
A win or loss versus the Texans this week. Where were these columns? What was the initial thought when Shad Khan said he was going to buy it? Oh, that's bad for the Jags.
Uh-oh.
And now that he's pulling out, oh, that's bad for the Jags. It seems to me that most people are just hell-bent and determined to turn whatever happens from Shad Khan, no matter how much he says and shows his commitment to Jacksonville, that it's, quote, bad for the Jags. What do you make?
Is there a question?
Yeah. What do you make? What do you make of him pulling out of? What do you make?
Well, here's what I think.
For any long-term, does it have any long-term effect at all?
Do you have any shout-outs to get in?
Yeah, I do.
Listen, this is what I think.
Buffalo Town.
I think the reason why Shad Khan pulled out is because Shad Khan knew he wasn't going to get the amount of votes that he needed to get Wembley Stadium. I think Shad Khan has a plan, and I think the plan is in place. And ultimately, whether it's good for Jacksonville or bad for Jacksonville is for you to determine. But if you, I'll say this. If you totally, believe in Shad Khan and believe in him as your owner and believe in what he's trying to do here in Jacksonville, it probably hurts the plan here a little bit because obviously Wembley was going to open up a whole new revenue stream for Shad Khan. And the idea was for Shad Khan to take historic Wembley Stadium and, have all kinds of events coming through and he was obviously going to be profitable for him. So clearly he wasn't getting the support that he had hoped to. So he may revisit it down the road if the FA, the Football Association, decides, listen, this does make sense. Let's let you
here's what
be the caretaker of historic Wembley Stadium.
Here's what bothers me about the 2 or 3 columns about how this ultimately could be bad for Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would submit to you that whether or not the Jaguars stay in Jacksonville or leave Jacksonville will have absolutely 0% to do with yesterday's news. If he's going to move him to London, there's plenty of reasons to move him to London with or without the stadium. And if he's keeping him in Jacksonville, there's plenty of the same reasons to keep him in Jacksonville with or without the stadium. Whether or not he can buy the stadium will not be the reason that the Jags go or stay, in my opinion.
No, I think that's probably accurate. I think that's probably accurate. I just think that listen, again, it's Shad Khan has done some tremendous things here in Jacksonville. There's no denying it. So I hope he continues. I hope he develops Lot J. I hope that downtown continues to flourish with the Jaguars franchise as the backdrop. I hope it all continues to go as planned, because I think it's some good things. All right, give me. I don't understand baseball anymore. Explain to me what the Brew Crew and Craig Counsell was up to yesterday. Starting a guy, letting him walk a guy, pulling him, and then saying, "All right, that was the plan because you're going to start the next game."
Here's why.
You still have to get 27 outs. So what are we thinking there?
Well, we're thinking that we're going to at least get the Dodgers to load up their lineup with right-handers, and then I'm going to bring a right-hander to face him for the first 5-6 innings.
Okay.
That's the end of the day. You announce a left-handed starter, and 3 or 4 left-handed starters, Jock Peterson for one, and others who would have been in the lineup, you hold out of the lineup, and then if you bring them into the lineup, you're forced to burn roster spots.
How did that work for them, by the way? Who won the game?
It worked fine. It worked fine.
Who won the game?
The strategy worked fine. Yeah, I mean, the strategy worked fine. They got to other members of the bullpen later in the game that they would have gotten to if their ace had gone sick. So
I thought they had the best bullpen in baseball. They're annoying me a little bit with the too much. And
I know.
I'm starting to find myself, rooting against them just a hair.
The storyline,
because of the silliness.
The storyline of the move, though, Dan, is going to be about whether or not this is dirty play by the Brewers.
Right.
By announcing a starter.
Right.
It's kind of an unwritten courtesy in baseball. You give your starter the day before, you can plan your lineup around it. So you announce the starter, you put him in there for. Personally, if you're willing to take the hit and just get one batter out of a guy, then more power to you.
Yeah.
So, but that is the reason. The mistake made in the pitching yesterday was he let that reliever go one inning too long. He went longer than he's gone all year, and he was dominant until that point.
Yeah.
So
the home run hitting.
Yeah. Correct. Dan, we've talked a lot about the NBA, too much already early this morning, but there's a storyline that developed that I've just been made aware of that makes me want to desperately go to Vegas and put all my money into one prop bet, and that prop bet is Anthony Davis winning the MVP.
Everybody's on that quickly. Anthony Davis was dominant last night. I think he had like 32 points and 16 boards. And he's a great NBA player. There's no doubt about it. The problem is, check back with me, Jeff. What's the date today?
Today's October, 18th?
18th, yeah. Here's the problem, Pross. By the end of October, he'll have missed a couple games. And then probably about December 4th, he'll roll the ankle and miss a week and a half. Dude, he misses too much time. He's got to play 82, baby.
He is. That's
the problem with Anthony Davis.
Kind of what I was referencing as well is he is kind of on record saying he's going Westbrook this year. He's going to try and pile up stats. And I think if you're going to do that, then
60, 66, 68, 61, 75, 75.
He's played more than you think. We went through this last year.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, 70. You would have never thought he played that. He had the 1 year years ago where he played, 30 or something? Or no?
No, 60,
That's
66,
it? That's the fewest he's
68,
played?
61, 75, 75.
Probably unfair then to think of him as injury prone.
You're missing 20 games. That's a good chunk of the season.
Well,
now,
if you
my
do
friend.
that. But 75 isn't. That's just resting guys. And that's been the last 2 years.
Okay. Oh, all right. I mean, stop.
It's kind of mean.
Yeah. Jeff, let's wrap with this. In case you missed it last night, the New York Knicks scored 49 points, the most points they've scored in a single quarter in more than 20 years. Will the Hawks play defense this year, yes or no?
Yes, that's right. Paul George did say he would have signed with the Lakers in the offseason if the Pacers haven't traded him to Oklahoma
That wasn't
City.
the question.
And that's the 10-minute drill,
happened?
ladies and gentlemen.
What just happened there?
We got much more when we return.
But first,
it's a custom Tree Surgeons Thursday here on the drill, but we have a custom-made opportunity for you to pick up a prize
you're
back.
darn right. Dan, give me a number.
Let's go caller number 3 today. Caller number 3.
Caller number 3 today, guys, is going to get a $50 gift certificate for dinner at Seven Bridges Grill and Brewery.
Love me some Seven Bridges.
They'll be entered for a chance at the grand prize, which is a pair of tickets to Jags Texans with admission to the game day tailgate experience. That comes complete with food and beverage before the game. So be caller 3 at 641-1010.
I like it.